This episode of Pucks Out Podcast is brought to you by Action 24/7, Tennessee's only local legal sportsbook. Use code Pucks Out when you make your first deposit, and our friends at Action will give you a 50% boost up to $800. That's right, up to $400 extra dollars when you use code Pucks Out. And this week, once again, there are some amazing boosts just for you. This Thursday is MLB Home Run Day. Bet $25 on someone to hit a home run and get a $10 free bet if you lose. Friday, bet $30 on a Grizzlies single game parlay with three different options under Actions and get a $10 free bet if it doesn't hit. And this Sunday is the home opener for Nashville SC. We'll be there, and we'll also be betting $30 on the Nashville SC match result winner draw and we can get a $10 free bet if it doesn't hit, and so can you. And did you know you can gamble with cash? Are you tired of waiting on your sports book? You won, but you can't get your money? No more waiting with Action 24/7. If you want to gamble with cash deposits and withdrawals, get started with Tennessee's local sportsbook today. Check out the link in the show description to find out how. Once again, use code PUCKSOUT, that's PUCKSOUT, when you make your first deposit, and our friends over at Action 24/7 will give you a 50% boost on your first deposit up to $800. What are you waiting for?
From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Heyo.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer that I already have cracked.
Mine's also open.
Get after it.
Click, click. I feel like I've been here before.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing about when you start recording virtually. Sometimes you got some technical difficulties and you gotta take it back. But don't forget, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. I got that social distancing today.
Me too.
Join us and Mayday at the Parks Realty fundraiser for Christmas for the Children Crawfish Boil on April 30th, 3 to 6 p.m. Tickets are $35 and include food and 2 beers. Additional beer is available for purchase. And don't forget about Trivia Tuesdays and Bingo Thursdays. Today, we've got a lot to cover. We got some news. We're talking NHL playoffs. We've got a joke of the week and much, much more. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon to support the show. How are you this week, bud?
Pretty good, man. We definitely always have a lot more stuff to go through, and we have to go through it twice. So I'm just glad you realized it when you realized it, because we have.
Yeah.
We always have some great takes. Doing pretty good, man. Playoffs are among us. We went to that Preds game last night. Looking forward to that, crawfish boil. Just a busy weekend, as you know. Spent Friday night downtown watching Bert Kreischer. Super hilarious with you. Saturday, downtown again for a friend's birthday. And then Sunday, friend's birthday again, downtown. For a guy that smack talks downtown so much, I spend a whole lot of my time there. So I don't know if it's just maybe I'm looking for more things to complain about or what, but I guess we should just start a podcast to complain about things, huh?
Yeah, we probably should.
How about you, man?
Good, man. A good bit hungover today. Had a fun weekend. Drank a little bit too much last night. So just going through it. Not as young as I once was, but hey, I'm showing up here to work, and that's what matters.
Hey,
soldiering on.
We play injured. We're a lot like what I imagine 1980s basketball and hockey players are like. Where we don't really do it. We don't study. We have pop culture, and we laze through that. We told everybody we're going to do Summer of Bond. We've all but given up. It's almost summer again, so we're going to try. Yeah. We're going to try again. But we just we'd rather just get drunk together and come in and play injured. So
for sure.
I love it.
I won't use the word heroes when referring to us, but some people could.
Some people, we are fueling, Ukraine right now. They're downloading us pretty regularly. So maybe they can, just get a little glimmer of hope. Not
Yeah.
that I would say that we're giving people hope.
When you use the phrase fueling Ukraine, that doesn't mean we're fueling the war in Ukraine. But the
No,
Ukrainian people come to
We're
us for inspiration
we're
and
fooling
hope.
their spirits. We're fueling their spirits.
And that's simply based off the amount of downloads we're getting from the Ukraine, which is awesome.
That's-
So if you're listening from the Ukraine, thank you.
Um,
And, we stand with you.
We're gonna find out though that it's being downloaded by the Russians over there to use it as torture device for these people. And what if that? I never considered it.
Well, I also haven't considered that, but the fact that like 2 months ago we really didn't have many downloads in Ukraine, but we did have some downloads in Russia. So now I'm wondering, is it the Russian soldiers who are in Ukraine now are listening to us and downloading us while they're there?
And so what it ultimately means is that our Russian listenership was the lower end class of folk, and they've just taken it right over to Ukraine, and we think we're heroes, and no, that's not the thing at all. People are, Ukrainians are picking up phone.
Yeah.
Ukrainians are picking up.
We go over we go over Ukraine and we're thinking we're going to be hailed as heroes.
They're spitting on us.
Yeah.
Bah, you're ugly. I don't know why we're ugly. They probably never seen us, but I'm guessing they don't know too many English insults. Like ugly would probably be one of them. Okay.
But all right, let's hop straight into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
UC Saros leaves the game injured on Tuesday night. With about 3 minutes left, David Rittich had to come in and take over the net. Devastating loss for the Preds when they're coming into after they clinched a playoff spot. They're calling up Connor Ingram. But if he's not back, they confirmed he'll be out for the last 2 games of the season. But if he's not back for this series, we can all but kiss the hopes away.
Yeah,
Preds moving past the first round.
It's already gonna be a big, steep uphill climb. Anyway, we saw that game last night for a Calgary team that had not a lot to play for, but you would never know it. You would think that they were fighting for their playoff lives just like anybody else. It's going to be chippy, man. It was, like you said, almost seemingly insurmountable anyway, but without Saros and the way he's played this year, that's tough. Rittich is, a decent backup to have. I was excited to have him, come into town as a backup. Has a big playoff series against a former team there, with a team that is looking good and firing on all cylinders and can match up physically with Nashville a lot better than a lot of other teams. It's definitely a blow, but hopefully they're just overhyping it. They're playing it up a little bit, and it's just we're just going to get you 2 days rest and you'll be fine. So let's hope that's the case.
The Florida Panthers can clinch the President's Trophy with I believe with just a win. They're currently at 120 points. The Colorado Avalanche are at 118. So if the Avs win out and Florida only wins 1, the Avs would win because they have the regulation wins that Florida cannot catch up on. But I don't know what
I think it's just one. I think they have to lose both, right? If they can clinch it tonight.
Yes. So they'd have to drop both. But their remaining games are they're at the Senators, and then it doesn't have what their last game is for some reason.
It's Montreal.
Okay, so they play the Senators in Montreal. So Florida should be able to win those 2 games. They've dropped 2 in a row, but that's the Lightning and the Bruins. So, after they went on a 10-game win streak, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13-game win streak. So,
you're allowed to drop a couple after that.
Absolutely insane showing from Florida this season.
Oh my goodness! I think Ty and the next news update you have kind of ties into a little bit of what we were talking about with Florida anyway, with what you're gonna ask. Since I know, already know what you're gonna ask me.
I don't know what was I going to ask you. Now I
Well,
forget.
Austin Matthews reaches
Oh,
60
Austin.
goals.
Yeah. Austin Matthews reaches 60 goals, first to do since 2012. To put that in context, Alex Ovechkin has only done it once in his entire career. So do you think that Austin Matthews is the lock-in for the Hart Trophy? I personally don't think so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, obviously, Rocket Richard, I doubt anybody's catching him in goals with these last 2 games. Though Draisaitl's within striking distance for himself.
Technically, yeah,
he's only got 5. He's only 5 goals behind, so that's like
Yeah.
a couple of games, for that guy.
I wouldn't be surprised, if you find out that Draisaitl has 6 goals in a game, we'd be like, oh, that's a lot, but not unsurprising.
Right. I'd be like, wow. Anyways, no, man, it's tough. It's tough. I may be biased because I am at the midseason update. I said Huberdeau. I mean, 115 points and has carried Florida to where they're at right now. I think it's hard to, turn your nose up at him. But also Johnny Gaudreau with a quiet 113 points on, again, a team that has really, really stepped up to the plate and shown that they're the team that we kind of thought they could be over the past couple years. So I just don't think, hey, 60 goals is great, but that in itself, I don't think that necessarily makes you the Hart Trophy. It's almost like that Leafs team is supposed to win. Not that these other teams are not, but this has been a long time coming. I don't think that's with very similar team and dropping 60 goals makes you the Hart Trophy in my mind.
Yeah, 100%. The NHLPA player poll, which is done with 566 players on all 32 teams were polled. Which one of the questions, and they asked a bunch, but some of the more important ones. Which player do you least enjoy playing against, but would like to have on your team? Brad Marchand won with 26.4%, followed by Connor McDavid with 18.3%, and then Tom Wilson with 10.7%.
I'm shocked by that list. I'm shocked, I tell you.
Yeah. The skater that most players would want on their team if they needed a victory, Connor McDavid with 42.4%, and I think after that was Sidney Crosby.
Now, I was about to say, is it specify that it's a regular season win? Because that's not who I'm going with. I'm going with Sid the Kid every single day of the week. Like I don't even now. I think if we're in the playoffs, Sidney Crosby's there and Connor McDavid's there. Well, there's one that I trust to get me to the next round, and Connor McDavid isn't it. But I mean, what respect that you have, because this is clearly meant to be a list of like nitpickers, guys that like to get into people's head, rats, we should say, I guess. And I guess I'm guessing, but McDavid being on the other side of the ice, it's more probably a skill thing. Like he just beats you up on the ice all the day. Wow, all the day. This is like, it's almost like this is only my second recording today. Yeah, so I'm not surprised by that. I mean, those are all guys that I think that we've literally said that about all 3 of these guys,
Yeah. So that's about it. Wraps it up for the NHL news. Let's go to outside the boards.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
Baseball, more boring than usual. 54 batters so far this season with below a .200 batting average. League average is close to .213, the lowest in many years. I don't remember. I think they said since the late 1800s, it hasn't been this low. That's just bad for the. That's not good for the game. It's really bad. It's already hard to watch. Nobody wants to watch.
Sure.
People want to see home runs. I mean, people want to see dingers.
Absolutely. But what you're forgetting is they didn't get to play 3 extra months of baseball, with no spring training, and they play a lot of baseball. And so hitting is a lot of, repetition. I think this will go up. I mean, we're in the first little month of this season. I wonder what the statistics are on it if, when it was this low previously, was there a delay in the
Yeah.
season or something like that? I mean, but I mean, it is I get what you're saying, but the difference in a 213, the 213 average going to like 280 is like 2 hits. It's
Yeah.
not it's
Yeah.
not it's not s- not massively low, but I love it that you put it on here so we could bash on baseball because I love that.
Yeah. I love it. Let's see here. I'm reading something. I'm seeing. Let's see if I can get some more stats. Uh, I don't think this is really. This is looking about Moneyball stats, which I have no interest in getting into that right now. But
No analytics?
the Miami the Miami Heat eliminate the Hawks in the NBA playoffs. I mean, there was one of the best graphics that I saw. It was Trae Young getting like uh, I don't know what by one of the Miami players like laser visioned and disintegrated by one of the Miami players. And it was just like literally it was just like a quick clip, but it was like amazing CGI that ESPN used just to make fun of Trae Young getting eliminated.
Yeah, sad to see. I mean, the Heat is a good basketball team for sure. Is that right? The Heat is a good basketball. It sounds wrong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? 2008?
Yeah, the Heat are a good basketball team. I guess
Oh,
that
I
would
thought
be
you.
right.
I thought you were
No.
saying that the Heat shouldn't be. Yeah, the Miami Heat. They're is a good basketball team. I'll
Yeah,
say
that's
is.
just right. It just sounds weird, right? The Heat is
Okay.
good.
I thought you were saying the sentence. It sounds weird because we're talking about the Heat being good.
No. I mean, that's a team that we've literally seen win multiple championships in our lifetime, Bobby. Like,
Oh, I know. I thought it was a little weird that you said it.
yeah. That's a good basketball team. I don't know that they are going to be winning the finals or anything, but I mean, I think it was a pretty much foregone conclusion that the Hawks were going to, had outlived their playoff time. So,
Yeah. The 2022 NFL Draft is coming up. Day one is Thursday, starting at 7 p.m. Central. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We were thinking about doing a whole separate thing, and we might still do a more in-depth thing for maybe Patreon or YouTube. But we'll do a quick once over on it, just to give you the when it is. We've got round 1 Thursday 7 p.m. You can find that on the major stations. Rounds 2 and 3 is Friday at 6 p.m. Central. Rounds 4 through 7 is Saturday at 11 Central. So there's that. And then let's see. Jaguars, Detroit, Houston make up the first 3 picks. The Giants have multiple picks. I believe they've got 3. They've got 2 picks in the top 10. And then the Jets have looks like 2 as well in the first 10. It looks like the overall top prospect this year is Aiden Hutchinson, defensive end from Michigan. And in fact, the top 4 prospects are all linemen. You have 2 defensive ends, 2 tackles.
I'm guessing it's probably obviously Aiden Hutchinson, as you said, Trayvon Walker, DT. Yeah. I always mess this guy's name up. Anua.
Ikem Ikwanu.
Ikwanu, that's right. That's right.
I am probably butchering that name, so I apologize.
And then there's the fourth Evan Neal.
Evan Niall?
Niall. Okay, yeah, from
I might have. I was making a joke. And then Ahmad Gardner, cornerback in the first, the top rated offensive player.
I think Gardner.
According to Scout, is
you're gonna want
Garrett.
This.
Yeah,
you're gonna want this. I think Gardner. I think he goes by like Sauce or something, like something real dope. So let me look that.
Cool.
Yeah, let me look that up for you.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Sauce. Obviously the best name in here who I've seen. I've been seeing this name in college for like 2 or 3 years now. Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon. So pretty big class. The top 6 quarterback. What's that?
I'm sorry, is that me? I guess that's me. I'm hearing an ad. I was like, what is going on? I guess you couldn't hear it though. So.
Yeah. Let's see. The top 6 quarterbacks, according to Scouts Inc. Malik Willis from Liberty, Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh, Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati, Matt Corral from Ole Miss, Sam Howell from North Carolina, and Carson Strong from Nevada. So yeah, what do you you expect any surprises, really,
No,
this year?
no. I mean, I know nothing. I don't know anything to expect this year. This is such an odd draft class, and such odd picks. Teams that have multiple picks here. It just makes it hard to hammer down what they're going to do with where. So no, I mean everything is going to be really a surprise to me. Like I have some general idea, but I mean this will be the first time, unless barring something ridiculously crazy happening, and maybe a trade into that top spot. I don't even see a quarterback going in the top 10 at all.
Yeah, I kinda agree. I
And so
mean,
I think I got that draft pool, and I've really trying to decide whether the winds seem to shift from Aiden Hutchinson to Trayvon Walker, and so like I need to make my decision of who I think is going to go number one.
yeah,
So I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, I've seen normally you pull up some mock drafts and you look, and there'll be some differences here and there. Somebody trying to be different than somebody else, but usually they're roughly the same. I've pulled drafts that have Kenny Pickett going at 4, Kenny Pickett not going not going at all, Trayvon Walker going first, and Aiden Hutchinson going second, with Kayvon Thibodeau going second. It's so crazy. There's no real rhyme or reason. The teams that are up there, especially top 10, they're all in need. They all have
yeah,
massive needs, not just one need. I think that I mean, it's there's no way that it's not a defensive end for the Jaguars. Who that'll be, I couldn't nail down and tell you. What about you?
yeah.
Any thoughts, plans?
I with having done absolutely zero research, the most research I did was, pull up this little article for
Hmm.
the show. I mean, I'm gonna say Aiden Hutchinson just because I don't like the SEC, so I'm gonna not. I'm gonna just say him. But that's simply for that's the only reason I would say him over Trayvon Walker.
Yeah, and then
I
and it,
so
and that reasoning
yeah,
is just as solid as anybody else's
yeah,
reason. That's I haven't seen any type of consensus on that pick, especially like like we said, not going a quarterback. There's no I mean,
yeah.
I think it's worse. I'd be interested to see where folks land, but I mean, dynasty league, like I don't know even who I'm going for. Usually, you kind of have an idea, but even before the draft, but it's going to be purely landing spot for me before I kind of make those rankings in my mind.
Yeah, now one guy that I do like simply from a, as a Commander fan that I would like to see us get, and he might fall to us, is I think Desmond Ritter would be a good quality quarterback to go to the Commanders. I like him, from Cincinnati.
I'm not
So
I'm not big on Desmond Ritter. I think that the best quarterback in this draft is going to be Matt Corral. I think he's going to
yeah,
fall a little bit. I think probably him or Kenny Pickett, probably your most NFL ready. I think I think Malik Willis goes to the Steelers, and they signed what's his face for a couple years, and so he can sit back and learn under Tomlin. I think that the Steelers will probably get a quarterback in the first round.
yeah, sure. But all right, we might talk a little bit more in depth later on. But let's move on. Today we are talking the NHL playoffs. We have a link for our playoff bracket challenge like we did last season. You can enter, but until I believe you have a couple more days until you can actually fill out your bracket, and it's a very short time period when you can fill out your bracket. I think it's from the end of the regular season to the start of the playoffs, so it's a quick window. Even if everything is shored up, you can't do it unless they change things this season. And who knows, maybe the winner, if it's not one of us, will win something. We'll figure that out and talk more about it next week. But let's go into our current matchups that we have. In the Eastern Conference, we have the first place in the Atlantic, Florida Panthers versus the Caps at the wild card 2 spot. Um, at the Atlantic number 2 spot, we have the Maple Leafs versus the number 3 in the division, Tampa Bay Lightning. The number 1 in the Metro, Carolina Hurricanes, who I believe can clinch the division win tonight with some things that they need to happen, versus the wild card 1 Boston Bruins, the Metro number 2 New York Rangers versus the Metro 3 Pittsburgh Penguins. And Moving on to the Western Conference, we've got the Central #1 team Colorado Avalanche versus the wildcard 2 Dallas Stars, which is still technically they could switch with Vegas. It is, but I think it's leaning towards Dallas.
Yeah, I mean Dallas holds the spot right now.
Yeah.
With 2 games remaining at 95 points. Vegas, I can't believe they haven't clinched. I guess I don't know, because Vegas has 91 points. I guess it would probably be ROR is why.
Yeah. It's I think they're going to like 2 or the second or third tiebreaker for that if they have to. At the Central 2 spot, you got the Minnesota Wild versus the Central 3 St. Louis Blues. The Pacific 1 Calgary Flames versus the Wildcard 1 Nashville Predators, and the Pacific 2 Oilers versus the Pacific 3 Los Angeles Kings. So let's just start up, at the Florida Panthers versus the Washington Capitals. I am not going to make the mistake that I'm sure a lot of people are. This is more than likely the President Trophy winning Florida Panthers. They have pretty much walked through everybody they've gone against this season. I do not see a first round exit happening this year against so I think Florida could I think correct me if I'm wrong, and I always forget because it's been it's been like 2 years since we had a normal Stanley Cup playoff. Is the first round, is it a best of 7 or best of 5?
It's all best of
It's all,
7s.
it's all
Yeah,
best of 7.
straight,
Okay, yeah.
straight best of 7
Is
series.
it baseball that the first round is best of 5 maybe?
Yeah, there's definitely
There's a pro sport out there where the first round's different, is best of 5.
baseball.
So maybe that
has a couple of different things in there. I think there may be a 5-game series in there as well.
So I think Caps can win 1 game. I think Florida wins it 5-1.
Yeah,
Or I guess technically
4-1.
4-1. Yeah, 4-1. Yeah.
Yeah, this is it's hard to see that Washington Capitals team and what they've done and bet against them. But I think that, they have 100 points this season. They had a good season. They're in the playoffs. They were just not as impressive as they have been.
No.
And were much more impressive in the beginning of the year. So not going in there with a lot of steam behind their back. So I'm with you. I think they win again. I don't think they sweep. I don't think they get swept, but I agree. And as 2 guys that were not so high on Florida at the beginning of the year, I think it would be dumb for us to just try to stick with our guns at this point. They're in my opinion, probably best team in hockey right now. Maybe Colorado if you want to make the argument, but I think Florida just has too much. The way their style of play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Barkov, Huberdeau just takes control in that game. Now the Maple Leafs versus the Lightning. We talked a little bit about this last night at the game. I get it that sometimes past performance is not indicative of current results. But guys, it almost seems like it's no longer a coincidence. And it does seem like this is a weird trend. And frankly, they haven't made many changes to convince me otherwise. So until they do, I'm saying Tampa Bay wins this series against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They need to prove it to me that they can perform in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear what you're saying. I just feel like this is the Maple Leafs year to move on. I don't think they're going to win the cup or anything. It's what we always said. The guys choke until they don't, and then everybody forgets about it. And I don't know. They epically choked last year against the Canadiens, but so did every other team that played them until they got to Tampa.
Yeah.
That's hard to hate on them for that. It's easy because they're Toronto, but in terms of if I just didn't know who it was and I saw it happen. Yeah, I think Toronto wins it. I think it's a good series. I think they win it in 6.
I just think that
that's about right.
Yeah. I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think Austin Matthews gets shut down by like Hedman. And I think that if they can't they need Austin Matthews to be Austin Matthews every game. If he's not Austin Matthews for one game, they lose a game. And
I
so
disagree.
he's got to. I mean, I don't think they rely so heavily on Matthews and Marner that I don't think that they're going to need to score a lot, which obviously they can. They've got 60 goal scorer Austin Matthews because I think Tampa's going to light them up I think it's going to be. I think every game is going to hit the over in that series.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it goes 7 games, but I think Tampa wins it in 7.
Okay. Hey, I mean, your take on this has been traditionally more right when betting
Yeah.
against Tampa. So I mean, hey, you don't hear what I'm not saying. If the Lightning go out and sweep Tampa, I'm at Tampa. If the Lightning go out and sweep Tampa, I will be amazed because that was their own team. If the Lightning go out and sweep the Leafs, hey, this isn't a big, a surprise moment for me. I don't know. I just got a feeling. I think they're going to get over the hump.
Now, let's talk hypotheticals. Say, 4 weeks from now, we're sitting here, and Tampa, or say Toronto does lose
Okay.
this series. What changes do you think? Obviously, changes will have to be made in that organization, right? You can't have the season. You can't have Austin Matthews scoring 60 goals and yet again fail in the playoffs. And part 2 of that question: do you think that it will change if they get swept compared to a loss in Game 7?
Is absolutely what I was about to say. If they go out there and give it everything and lose in a Game 7 to the 2-time Stanley Cup champions, it's hard to.
Yeah.
It's hard to, Yeah, last year
Yeah.
was the big loss. To me, losing to the Habs the way they did. I just find it. But like you said, they go in there and get swept. I mean, what do? Coaching changes. I mean, personnel switch up. I think really what it will depend on is what Matthews wants them to do.
Yeah.
If Matthews wants them to do something, then they'll do something. But
if Matthews, if we're sitting here in a couple of weeks and we are saying, Austin Matthews only had 2 goals in the entire series, something's going to have to change. Obviously, they're not going to trade him, but they're going to have to do something. They're going to have to shake it up somehow because this can't keep happening. Because at the end of the day, you can have all the Rocket Richard winners on the team you want. What matters is that Stanley Cup. And if you can't get that Stanley Cup year after year after year, when you are a team like Toronto with those fans in that city in this league, something's going to have to change.
Yeah, he's still a young guy. I mean, I would imagine that some complaining podcasters like ourselves were probably saying the same thing about Ovechkin before he won one.
Well, okay, don't hear what I'm not saying. I don't think they'll make a change with him. I think he will want to change out of there.
I mean, maybe. Toronto. I would imagine that like a lot of little kids grow up wanting to play hockey for the Toronto Maple Leafs, though.
Sure.
And so I think that it's one of those hard. I think he would want to make Toronto better rather than go somewhere else and try to. I don't know. That's just a feeling I get from him.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm not his agent. I have no idea where he wants to be. But I'm with you. I mean, I think it depends on. Ask me this question after the series, and then I'll give you I can give you a better answer of what I think based on how they play.
Yeah. Probably when we know the outcome, we could probably talk about it a little bit better.
Hey, you holler at me in April of 2023. I'll tell you what happened. Okay.
Yeah. The Carolina Hurricanes versus the Boston Bruins. To me, this is I am expecting Carolina to get the job done, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here and the Bruins, win this series.
A tough draw for the Hurricanes for sure.
Yeah.
A team they probably, but I guess really anybody team they probably didn't want to see. I think they get it done too. Boston hasn't really shown in the past few years that they had, what they have had previously. I think that the Hurricanes win it too. This is, I think this is a 6-game series. I think the Hurricanes win it in 6. But I mean, again, one of those Boston could most certainly. I mean, it's such a who's who in the East right now. I mean, literally any of those teams I feel could go and march and win a cup.
And I'm just looking through their season schedule against Boston. The first game now, one has been postponed, so I'm assuming it's going to be played in the next couple days. Carolina, their first matchup, won 7-1. in their second matchup after their postponed one. Let's see. Carolina won 3-0. I'm sorry, that was the third matchup. I'm looking for their second. There's a lot. I'm going through the entire thing here. 7-1. Oh, they won. Okay, so Carolina in their first matchup won 6-0. In the second matchup, Carolina won 7-1. And then the third matchup, which was postponed, and then the most recent one, Carolina won 3-0. So Carolina has had Boston's number. But for some of those games, Pasta's been injured for a little bit of the season. Pasta's back now. But I don't think that's makes up the delta of the talent between these two teams.
I was about to ask though. Do you think that Brad Marchand and Bergeron and Pastrnak, do you think that they care what the regular season record is? Now, I get the
for
point.
sure. Yeah,
I get the point that you're trying to make. I'm not being, but I'm saying like those are the kind of guys that can just put it in the back of their head. Let's go play some playoff hockey.
Yeah, I don't think that it's intimidating the players, but I think that the delta of talent on these two teams is large.
There's been some matchup problems, which are evident. As you've just kind of stated. What was the goal differential? Was about like 20 or so, right? I mean, that's that's
pretty much
that's a substantial amount. I mean, and it absolutely could be indicative of what we can see in this series. But we know that regular season hockey and playoff hockey are different animals. So I'll be interested to see how the Bruins. Let me rephrase that. I'll be interested to see how Carolina handles it if they come out and get punched in the mouth early.
Yeah. The Rangers versus the Penguins. This is going to be a good matchup, but I think Rangers easily handle the Penguins. Now, the Penguins have stepped it up. The reason they're in that third spot is because they started off strong, then they had a bit of a slow down, but they finished off the season strong. So I think it's going to be a good series. I could see this going 7, but I think the Rangers take this one. I think Shesterkin has been lights out. I think he's going to be the Vezina winner this year. I don't see them getting past Shesterkin.
I was the guy that bet on the Pens to not make the playoffs, and here we are, and I'm with you. I'm just gonna stick with. Hey, at this point, I've already lost my money. I don't have any money on this yet, so let's go Rangers. I'm just gonna hopefully will this into existence. I think it is a 7-game series for sure. And if you want the truth, I think the Penguins pull it out. But
yeah,
but I think that. But I'm gonna make my official bet and will it into existence or official pick of the Rangers in 7.
Moving over to the Western Conference, Colorado Avalanche versus the right as of now Dallas Stars. I think no matter who Colorado draws, I think that they are getting out of the first and second round. They are such an amazingly talented team. They are by and far the best team in this conference, and I don't see them having the only team I see them having an issue with is Calgary.
Dallas knows when to step it up is the unfortunate part for Colorado. A team that has, pretty recently been in the Stanley Cup final, a very similar path that they're taking, that they've taken this year. If I'm Colorado, I'm not scared, but I'm definitely not looking ahead. If that makes any sense. Dallas just has a way of winning games, not overt star power. Not. I mean, they have some stars. Don't get me wrong, but Dallas just wins hockey games by any means necessary. They're scrappy like that. So I think Colorado wins in 5. But if Dallas gets 2 wins, I think they take the series. If by game 4 Dallas has 2 wins, I think Dallas takes the series. But
wow.
Because I just don't know if they'll be able to handle the adversity as we've seen previous, to the. I think if Dallas, or Colorado goes up, 3-1 or something, 3-0, and then loses a game, then they come out and close it out. But I think if we go into game 5 tied up, I think Dallas can pull that one off.
Okay. The Minnesota Wild versus the St. Louis Blues. This was the team I said wouldn't make the playoffs, but here we are. So I'm going to stick to my guns and say the Wild sweep the Blues.
Yeah. I mean, the Wilder, it was a better guess than mine because I think that the Wilder is a really, really good hockey team. The Blues can step it up when necessary, but I agree with you. I don't think it's a sweep. I think it is. I think it's the Wild in 5.
Okay. Moving on, the Calgary Flames versus the Nashville Predators. This is a good matchup for Nashville compared if they had to go against Colorado. We saw last night that Nashville can hang with these guys. You know, I think they split the season series, I believe. No, I guess it's a 3-game series, so I don't know how they split it. But I'm going to say that Calgary probably won 2-1 this season. But listen, I think Calgary gets it done, but I would not be surprised if Nashville edges them out. But I think it comes down to if UC Saros is healthy. That is a
Absolutely.
huge, huge asset for them, probably their largest asset. And without him, I think Calgary wins it, in 5.
I think Calgary
but,
sweeps without Saros. I think Calgary sweeps
But yeah,
without Saros.
I could see that, yeah.
And as much as I hate to do this, I just think I think the Flames are just too much. I think it's going to be a really, tough nose series, but I think the Flames win in 6. I just can't see a way around some of their guys. They match up with us really well. I agree with you in saying that I prefer this draw to Colorado, but only slightly.
Yeah.
And this draw definitely, if you can somehow squeak out this series, I think you go into that next series beat up. I think it's hard to win.
After
to
that
win
game
2
we saw last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be an outright blowout. I even if the Flames win in 4 or win in 5, I think we're talking we're going into the third period with a game every game. I don't think it's going to be any blowouts or anything like that.
Yeah. And rounding it out with the Edmonton Oilers versus the Los Angeles Kings. Yeah, you've got McDavid and Draisaitl, but the Kings are a gritty team. They know how to win these.
Isn't that the Flyers?
Yeah, but the Kings remind me of a good Dallas Stars, and I think that if the Kings can go in and steal a game on the road, then they could possibly win this series in 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think if the Kings win 4 games, then they're going to win the series. If they don't, no, I'm with you. They're a gritty team that has kind of scraped their way by. We all talked, you, Davey, and I. We talked about them being a playoff team. I don't know if we were so sure that we were right at the time, but here we are. With them sitting there in that final spot and what has been a very surprisingly good Pacific. We did not think it was going to be a great Pacific this year, and some people had fallen off for sure. But LA looks good. Edmonton in 6, though. I think that I think Draisaitl and McDavid they get it done.
Okay. Well, guys, that wraps up the current playoff picture
All
as
right,
it stands.
Fandom gone. What you can only watch one of these series. What are you watching for the best hockey? Not necessarily, I'm going to watch the Pred series. I mean, unless that's your choice. You get to watch one of these series because it's the best hockey you're going to see. Who you watching?
It is between Toronto and Tampa or Carolina, Boston. I'm going to go Toronto and Tampa. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
Mine, Rangers, Penguins, baby. I think
I was about that was going to be I was
entertaining.
Yeah. I after I thought about it, I think it's I still think
got some blue bloods,
but you're going to get to see a lot of scoring in that Toronto Tampa game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
yeah, I think all of those Eastern Conference games are going to be amazing.
All right, so highest scoring series, go for it. Call it.
Oh, I think it's easily going to be Toronto and Tampa.
Agreed on that. Lowest scoring series.
I'm going to say Wild and Blues.
Oh, good call. I didn't have them in my mind. All right, I'm going to I think that it's going to be I think it's going to be Edmonton, Los Angeles.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about them, but possibly, yeah. I was also thinking maybe
I'm
the Rangers and the Penguins
I'm
to
looking for
switch the
the
circuit in there.
looking for the series with the that it's gonna have the least games, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what you
that's a
got.
good way of
A
that's a good way of thinking about it.
a game going, a series going 7 is always gonna beat that
Yeah,
series going 4 unless it was like Colorado Colorado Edmonton
yeah,
playing or something, the Panthers. So I think the Kings, not gonna score a ton in my mind. So even if
yeah,
Edmonton does, I think that it's gonna be over quick.
sure. But all right, guys, that wraps up our discussion on the NHL playoffs. Before we move on to games of the week, though, Brandon, why don't you tell us a little bit about our friends over at Manscaped?
Yeah, man. But hey, well, real quick, you remember that show Newlyweds?
Yeah.
Yeah, great show, right? I mean,
Oh yeah.
my boy Nick Lachey, so smooth. Oh man. Which reminds me of another Nick Lachey that you should go over to our boys at Manscaped and grab that. Use codes pucks out, PUCKSOUT, 20% off your order. Best hands down shave that I've ever had. All of their products, super dope. The ball deodorant, the ball primer. I'm not really that one kind of scared me at first. I was like, priming it for what? But but to not be scared, I was like, let's do it. I'm just gonna take this spray it all over my balls. Apparently, that's what you're supposed to do. Awesome, man. I'm super glad that they reached out to us about this partnership. Some dope, the Lawnmower 4.0. I think you just gave it to our buddy for his
Yeah.
birthday.
So, Danny, I
Not
hope you appreciate. I know Elena will.
not your not your used one though, right? You did get him a new one.
Well, I wanted a new one, so but
Well,
yes, he got a new one.
awesome, man. I need to get longer nose hairs though, so I can use the weed whacker. I don't really have
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have long nose hair, so I don't know if it works or not. So maybe
Yeah, I used it when it didn't really do anything because I don't really have nose hairs, but
yeah.
I was, but hey,
I'm
if
gonna
there
s-
was nose hairs there, it would have gotten rid of them.
I'm gonna start carrying it with me, and if I see some dude with some long nose hairs, I'm just gonna
Whoop.
you're weed whacked, bruh. And then I'm gonna say use code pucks out for 20% off.
Once again, thank you, Manscaped, for reaching out. And don't forget that's code PUCKSOUT, PUCKSOUT, for 20% off and free shipping. Time to move on to our games of the week.
Do we have to?
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right. Listen, at this point, this past week, we kind of were just doing some stuff for fun. But coming into technically our last week, we each have 2 games because 2 days of games left. I'm sitting at 81, 48, and 3. Bond is sitting at 70, 59, and 3. Listen, we both had amazing seasons, well above 500.
Tough thing to do.
Yeah, and you know what? It was a fun time, especially since next season, we're gonna start betting $1 on these games, so it
Right.
makes me feel good. Last week I think I went 1-4, and I think you went 2-3. I think.
You didn't go the coveted 0-5 though, which
Yeah,
you thought was a possibility. So
yeah. We're gonna start out with 2 games. On this Thursday or today, day of release, we've got the Wild versus the Flames. I think that the Wild take this one.
yeah, good call. Flames, just had a pretty heavy, brutal matchup with the Preds last night. They may be wanting to rest up for playoff times. I love the pick. I got, at this point, we're just like you said, having fun. So I wanted to put some games on there that I wanted to watch. Nashville, Colorado. I think I think Colorado takes this one. Nashville goes in. Obviously, that's not their last game, but they go in with a loss and then a win the next night against Arizona into the playoffs. So that's Thursday the 28th at 8 p.m. By the way.
Okay. Friday at 6 p.m. I've got Boston versus Toronto. Going to be a good game. And you know what? I think I'm going to say Boston takes this game heading into the playoffs.
Okay. Then I have the Capitals and the Rangers on the 29th, that Friday at 6 p.m. We've been pretty hype on this Rangers squad. We're not so hype on that Capitals squad. So I think I'm gonna go with the Rangers. Give them one last pick. I think they're one of my few shining moments was picking them quite a bit this year. So I'm gonna go with the Rangers.
All right, guys. That these are the last games for the season that we'll be predicting.
I will
until
officially
obviously-
concede the season. I will not be putting in a formal protest. You beat me like I stole something this year. So
Hey, good
congratulations,
season,
sir.
bud.
Good
Yeah.
season, man. Good
Yeah.
season.
And let's move into joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
Kidding me?
It's time for the joke of the week.
All right, I have no idea what this is even about. So what is going on here, man?
So I'm sitting there floating through, Reddit, not even looking for a joke of the week. I think I'm on the sports Reddit or something, looking for news or whatever for this week. And I scroll past something that just looks like a silly baseball article, but then I scroll back up because of what it said on top. It was like, Moises Alou said in an interview that during the baseball season, he would pee on his hands because it alleviated calluses and toughened up his hands. And it was that moment, not all the other moments in my life of where, I've just, known who I am. It was in that moment that I knew that I did not have what it takes to be a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
What? And I was thinking, oh, no, this is crazy. That's, so I got it. I was like, oh, I'm going to look up this article because it just has to be just Moises Alou. And there's a bunch of proponents for it. Like, a lot of people do it, man. Like, I'm like a little skeptical. If you want to read the article, you can. And normally we, skim through it. I'm out. Right there, the peeing on the hands thing was the joke for me. And like, what?
Yeah, Jorge Posada says, you don't want to shake my hands during spring training. Cubs pitcher Kerry Wood mentioned on a local radio show that he's tried the technique to remedy blisters on his pitching hand. Though
What?
He wirily added that there's also well-known clubhouse cure for headaches. Crapping in your hat. Does urine really toughen the skin? Proponents of urine therapy, and they are enough to these to have populated 3 world conferences on the subject, believe consuming one's own urine boosts the immune system, and they've also recommended using it as skin treatment, but most say urine softens the skin rather than hardening it.
What is even this? I mean, I guess we're the idiots, though. I mean, the people that you named are great baseball players. I mean, Jorge Posada is a Hall of Famer. Kerry Wood will probably be a Hall of Famer. Moises
Correlation does not equal causation.
I mean, bro, dude.
Plenty of traditional doctors and professional skeptics will tell what is a professional skeptic?
Guy without he's unemployed. It's an unemployed
like
guy.
I'm very confused. What do you do for? Oh, I'm a skeptic.
He's unemployed.
You have a job.
Yeah, and see, but the thing is, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people every single day become doctors, Bobby, and not many people have batted
pissing their hands.
Not many people have batted 301 over a 14-year career like Moises Alou. So, like, the doctors can say whatever they want, but one person has done something that they wouldn't be able to do with the pee hands. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not a proponent of it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a baseball player, but if I was, apparently I would just pee on my hands.
Well, here's the other thing: is proponents of urine skin therapy says that you don't just pee on your hands; you have to soak your hands in the urine for about 5 minutes.
Okay, well now it makes a little more sense because I was just thinking, oh, saddle up to the urinal and just like unzip my pants, kindergartner style. Pants are around the ankles, and I'm just letting it flow all over the hands. But now it makes a lot more sense. You get a bowl, and then you pee in that bowl, and then you put your hands in that bowl. Sorry, bro. I'm an idiot. I'm back in on urine therapy. What?
Yeah.
Oh, what a joke, dude. Like, why would you tell people? And who was the first guy
Yeah.
that told other people?
Probably someone who was making a joke.
Biggest
and then
troll
it just stuck
ever.
on.
See, you can't troll a baseball player because they'll be
Because
doing
they're superstitious.
they'll be doing the weird shit, man. You'd be like, oh yeah, every time you go up to the plate, if you fondle your balls a little bit, you'll get better opportunity to again not get a hit every single time, but maybe 30% of the time get a hit. Like 70% of the time you're going up there with urine-soaked hands, and you're like, I may not even get a hit. But it's cool because I know that I'm gonna get one in a next inning.
Here's the thing: he's doing this so he doesn't have to wear gloves. What? Just wear gloves. What's the issue with
just
gloves?
It just seems like not only does it seem like the least effective way to get your hands going or whatever you're doing or not going or softer or harder or whatever he wants. I mean, we came up with the cure with the gloves. I mean, you probably get free gloves every day. Like, why? Why don't you want they're not different.
And what happens if he doesn't have to go right before he's at bat? Does he say, "Hey, bud, I need your help"?
Right.
To the bathroom?
Right. Well, no, a guy like that definitely has filled water bottles of pee.
Ugh.
Like he never wastes it. I can imagine. Like you go into Moises Alou's house and it's like a World of Warcraft player that lives in his mom's basement. There are piss bottles everywhere at his house, I'm guessing.
His wife or significant other is probably a little hesitant to do any handsy stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's like, come on. He's like, hey, come on, girl. He's like, you want some of this? You want some of this whipped cream? And she is like, no, thank you. Was it lemon? Is it lemon whipped cream? Why is it yellow? Oh, sorry. I ran out of pee bottles, honey. I had to pee in the whipped cream. Can't be wasting this.
Yeah, absolutely insane. But all right, let's move into our questions from the internet. You've got one for us again today. What do you got?
Just made this up on the spot. It seemed like both are equally annoying. Fingernails that grow 3 inches every hour or every time you sneeze have 15 ounces of snot come out. And we can alter the liquid amount to make it more equitable. I didn't know.
I think snot is the easy one here.
Yeah.
Could you imagine getting on an 8-hour plane ride where you're not allowed to take finger nail clippers on a plane? First off, the TSA wouldn't allow you. Your fingernails are going to be weapons.
I always carry fingernail clippers because it's my teeth. I used to bite my nails. I don't anymore, but I could easily get back in the game. Like there was nothing that I didn't do that. Like, oh, you put that stuff on your. I mean, I guess I should have gone to Moises Alou earlier. I could have put a little pee on my finger, and then I would have never had the habit. But turns out I just went cold turkey, stopped biting them. I'm back in the game. 15 ounces is a lot of liquid.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Think about being all right. Same scenario. You're on the plane and you sneeze, and now you got 15 ounces of snot to deal with.
You got a little puke bag to sneeze into.
Oh, you're just always carrying puke bags,
planes always have them in front of you, but yeah, I'm always carrying them with me if I'm just traveling around.
Let's see. The problem is that those puke bags on the plane are like paper, and so. You would have to imagine if that person's throwing up, this is just a means to not have it go everywhere. But when you snot in there, it's going to be sitting there and it's going to be wet. And personally, I'm a multiple sneezer. So
yeah,
we need to establish for those multi-sneezers out there, if I sneeze 3 times, do I have 45 ounces? Or is it that's just the whole sneeze grouping?
I think, it's got to be 15 ounces of every sneeze.
Yeah, then it's fingernails, easy money for me. No problem.
See, for me, even then, because it's I can just carry little doggy poop bags around with me if I need to.
Yeah, but that's
at least
gross. You know what I'm saying? I feel every time, think about when you're sick, man, and you can't really do anything. You're just going to be in a sea of snot, all the time.
Your bed sheets are going to be destroyed if you get a full 7 to 8 hours of sleep by the time you wake up.
That's
your finger.
No, you've seen those ladies that do everything. You would adjust your life. I would have to start typing like this, but your life would adjust. Look at Bon Kui Kui. She was famous and on TV and had super long nails. So it's possible, man. It's totally possible. I see your point, but 15 ounces is just a lot of liquid.
Yeah, for sure.
Every single time you have to sneeze. And for me, at very least, a minimum of 45 ounces of liquid coming out. I've just got to go with the fingernails. I'm just going to make it work. It's going to look cool.
Yeah. But all right, let's move on to what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right. So mine is probably I don't know if I've ever talked about on the show, but it is an issue on almost every type of sports event. When there's a controversial call, even just a regular call, I feel like we don't get to see the right angles. There's always a good amount of angles, but never just the one we need.
It's always acute or obtuse.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, we live in the most advanced time ever. Why can we not have cameras all over the place? We should be able to have full control of where we want to see. There should be full immersion, especially in professional sports. Obviously, college, I get it. But professional sports, you should have cameras from every angle pretty much.
100%. And a really good, to your point, we've heard this before, and I don't know if I'm sure it's other leagues as well, but it's more prevalent in the NFL when they're like, oh, well, we don't have that view because that crew is somewhere else. What? You're telling me that there are games that are being filmed completely differently? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. No. Great one. I mean, that's definitely one that we've complained about quite a bit. So absolutely love yours. Mine, I know I've made this complaint before, and we try not to double up on complaints, but it's my annual complaints about sports bars, not knowing what sports are on. We were literally sitting at a sports bar the other day and getting ready to play some trivia, and we were watching an ESPN draft coverage show about the NFL draft, which at this point is 2 weeks away, while there was an NBA playoff game on. Like, yeah, not everybody likes the NBA. I get that. But, like, come on. It wears me out. Like, I would have a list every morning. This comes on this. This comes on this. Like, you know me. I've always complained about that. But it's playoff time, so I got to complain again.
Yeah. Hey, playoffs, baby.
Playoffs? What talk about playoffs? You kidding me?
You can now. It's playoff time, baby.
Let's go.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.